Hey guys, welcome to Not Another Wrangler. I'm Chris, and this right here is Ragnarok. You may know me from Instagram at Ragnarok_BU. We today are here to fix the inner tie rods on Ragnarok. And I felt this was fitting as this is the first ever video on the Not Another Wrangler page. Stay tuned, and I hope you subscribe to us because there will be a lot more videos on how to fix your Jeep, things that we do, the trail rides we do, and also everything else that comes in accompaniment with being a NA. So please stay tuned and welcome to the channel. As you can see, I have Ragnarok here up by the lift, and we're just going to lift her, and then we'll give it a good old shake test. Let's go. She's on the hoist, she's lifted, everything seems good. Go a bit higher, and then we'll give it a shake. Alright, now, when you do a shake test, you're just basically shaking up and down on it to make sure that's not gonna fall off the lift. So watch. And then shaking, it's not gonna fall, you can go up higher so you can get ready to do everything you want. So, I'm gonna leave this part in just so I look like an idiot, but also to remind everybody, before you lift your vehicle, break the wheel nuts. Let them get loose so you can access the parts that you need behind the wheel. I'm an idiot. All right guys, so to break the wheel nuts loose, you're gonna need your key, because I have specialty wheel nuts, breaker bar, and the size socket you use for this. So let's watch. All right guys, so we have here your wheel. Got my wheel key on there, my 19 mil, because it takes 19 mil for me to do, and the breaker bar. So basically just the easiest way, put your breaker bar on, and then you just crank it off. And do that to every single one. All right. So now since we have our wheel nuts broken free of the tension that they have, we're gonna take our key, put it back on our wheel nut. We're gonna grab our air impact. We're gonna put the 19 mil on there, and then we're gonna get them off. Simple as that. So now that we have the wheel nuts all off, we're just gonna take off the wheel, and then we'll get into what we're actually doing today. Okay guys, so now we gotta get the tie rod and nut and cotter pin off. The easiest way to get at it, make access, grab your caliper and your brake, and just turn. So, now you have full access to your outer tie rod. So we're gonna take that off. So for us, you got a pair of pliers. Well, actually, I don't even need a pair of pliers. But you get a pair of pliers, and then you're gonna take your cotter pin, and you're gonna take that out. And then you're also going to take off your castle nut. And on my Jeep Renegade 2015, it is a 17 mil socket for the castle. So we'll get through that, and then we'll go and start doing more of taking off the tie rod. We have our outer tie rod disconnected from our knuckle. Quick, easy way to tell if you have a bad inner tie rod, grab your tie rod end. If it drops, it should not do that. It should be stuck right there. It should be nice and sturdy. So we're gonna get the outer tie rod end off. Always make sure, check your boot on your outer tie rod as well. I just replaced mine, so they should still be good. We'll still give it a good check over, and then we'll go from there. All right guys, so if you look, you can see your outer tie rod, look at it. Yes, mine's a bit greasy, but there's no rips or tears in the boot. It's still pretty loose, actually. That should be that loose. But, actually, wait. Nope, never mind. She is still tight. I'm just gonna pump her up with grease again. But my outer tie rod's still pretty good. I'll probably end up changing those before I go wheeling this year. But when you do take off your outer tie rod, when you turn it off after you break your jam nut, count how many turns. So say it's like this, count how many turns it does coming back to this. So you'll do 1, 2, 3, and just count how many turns it takes to get it off, and then go from there. Before you do this, you're gonna count how many threads you have back here before you loosen your jam nut, and you're gonna put your jam nut that specific amount on the new outer inner tie rod end. Always make sure you do that because it'll also help with your alignment. All right, guys, so we're gonna get this off. And so it's 9 threads on this for me. I wrote it in my fender liner with mud because I am a dumbass and I forgot a paint marker. So you should always use a paint marker and mark on there, so then when you put your new one on, you can remember. All right, take your castle nut, put this up, and just twist it on so it's nice and snug, and then that holds your outer there. Take your tools, your wrenches, hold your outer, and then just try to break free your jam nut. And once you do, you can take off your outer castle nut, put that back into a safe spot where you know where it is so you don't lose it. Get this back up there, and then pop that out, put it back in the spot where you won't lose it. And then, like I said, when you take this off, so that's up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, guys, so once you get your outer tie rod off, put that off to a safe spot. Don't drop it or anything because it is breakable on the inside with the bushing in there. And then, so it took me 22 turns to get it off. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some mud from my Jeep like I usually do, and then I'll do 22. And then I know how many turns this takes to go back on. So from this point, we're gonna go and get the boot off the inner tire rod. So this clamp right here, you're gonna take some needle nose, and you're just gonna grab one end here and the other end over there, if you guys can see. And then you're gonna grab those. You're gonna just open them up like so. And you're just gonna bring it down, and then it's off more. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but in there, down at the back, there is a little clamp. And this clamp, you just have to break. It's hard to see, but it's right back there, and your screwdriver should pop in there and just break free of the clamp. And we're gonna do that right now. All right, guys, so now we have the clip broken off. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a small screwdriver I just had, and I don't know where I dropped it. All right, you're gonna get yourself like a small flathead screwdriver. You're gonna take it, go up to your inner boot. You're just gonna try and get under it enough that it pops up, but don't break the boot. So you can spray some like silicone, WD-40, something in there. It's gonna help you remove the boot a bit easier. So I'm gonna go grab some spray, and then we're gonna get it off. Okay, so now that I've done the spray, I'm gonna try and remove the boot. So basically the easiest way is just don't be aggressive with it, but just get it off. So now I have my boot off, and you can see how bad my inner tie rod is, because an inner tie rod should be like this. Not a crash sound. But it should be something like this, where you can't fucking bend it even if you try. So we're gonna replace that with this, and also this one comes with a nice bigger new jam nut, which I like. We're gonna do that. All right, I'm gonna grab the tool. There is a special tool to use for getting the inner CV off, and I will show you that to you guys in a second. Okay guys, so here, this is what we have. This is the inner CV boot tool. I know what most guys are thinking, and no, it is not that. It comes with a bunch of adapters. So the adapters look like so. So they will slide on top of your inner axle, and then it will be easier for you to remove them. So what you're gonna do first, you're gonna take off your jam nut, you're gonna take off your clamp, and take off your boot. Inspect your boot, make sure that it's good, and that you can reuse it. Okay guys, so when you're inspecting your inner CV, your inner tie rod boot, make sure that there's just no cracks, no wear, it still looks good on the inside, everything on this looks still basically brand new on the inside. So basically with this is good to go to be used for the new one, and then you just take out your old and then put in the new. All right guys, so now I have my inner tie rod right here, loosey goosey. So I'm gonna take my tool right here, and slide it on to where it gets to the point of it's on there. Grab my breaker bar, put that in, and then just reef it. I want to bleep that out and just reef it off. And once it's loose, take your breaker bar off. Might be able to. Oh, that's loose enough now. And there you go. Yeah, that's done. She done. She garbage.
Hey guys, as I edit this right now, I forgot to mention it's on my inner tie rod, the factory OEM tie rod inners there are. It's literally a cylindrical thing. There is nothing for that special tool to clip onto, and I didn't have the other tool to get it off. So what I ended up doing was I took a grinder and I shaved down the sides of each inner tie rod, and I just hammered that tool on and I got it off. So if you have the OEM inner tie rods and that's why it doesn't work, this is why. Sorry, there is a tool just for that.
Okay, so you grab your new part. This is my new inner tie rod. Fancy, shiny. Doesn't move. So you're gonna do that. Get your tool again. So first things first, if it comes with a washer, put the washer in between. And then, because it's a lock washer. So then you're gonna just thread it on. Get it nice and tight, as hand tight as you can. And at this point, you should be able to straighten out your tie rod because it has force on the end. So then you get that in there. Once you're snugged up, unlock your tool.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at it working like a thing.
Okay, so once you get your tie rod in and snugged, you're gonna wanna take your tie rod tool. You're gonna wanna put your bit over the end. Once it's in there, you're gonna put this in. You're gonna twist at the bottom to lock your bit in. And then you're just gonna keep tightening. Once it gets hand tight, grab your breaker. And just make it snug. Also, all vehicles have different torque specs that you want to put them to. So make sure you just check with your vehicle manual on the specs that you need and the foot-pounds of torque you need to put on your parts. So, now we're going to do the boot. Okay, so when you put your boot on, you're going to need to get a new clamp. I just got some generic hose clamp. You can use zip ties, whatever. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna get the clamp on the boot first, make your life so much easier. Put it on, make sure it's at least on there snug. When you put it on, some boots have breather holes, put the breather hole back to the spot it needs to be. This one on the Jeep Renegade 2015 2.4, you're just gonna put it on. You're gonna slide this on, but make sure when you do, just give it a little bit of love. Spray some silicone in there. Some WD, whatever you can, just to make it so that it slides on good. And make sure that it's nice and good to go on. So once you put it on, just kind of slide it, hop it over, get it up. There is a spot on the actual inner tie rod where it will sit, the boot, and then you're gonna get just the other end of the boot on actual drive power, your rack and pinion. I can't speak. You'll learn this very soon. Okay, so once you get your boot clamp on, your inner tie rod clamp, boot on, sorry, and the boot clamp, you're gonna take your jam nut, you're gonna throw it back on and leave the amount that you had. So for me, it was 9, so I'm leaving 9 threads showing, and then we put it on the tie rod again, the inner. Yeah, we have at 9 now, so we're gonna grab our outer tie rod again, and I'm gonna put this back on. 22 spins from this way. So, ready? We got 1, 2. Put your jam nut tight, and then you're gonna do the reverse of what you did. So you're gonna take your 22 and your 21, tighten. Okay, so now at the end of this, once you're done all that, just put your tire back on, torque it down to spec for Jeep Renegade
22 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees.
2015, it is 89 foot-pounds. And so, just remember, torque things down, do everything, put your wheel back on, you're good to drive. Just like that, guys, I am finished, and I have changed out my inner tie rods. Everything feels good so far. We're gonna find out on the drive home. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I spent quite a bit trying to figure out how to do this on my own and not have to pay people, so I hope you enjoyed.